This time in the bonus round, we're heading to Vegas, baby, and meeting up with 3 game industry vets to talk about the big questions that weigh on their mind. What's the biggest problem with the video game business today?
It's absolutely a lack of clarity about 3 platforms.
And are big games more about marketing than good design?
I think we're at this point now when you make a game, you have to make an event.
Find out right now in the bonus round, Dice Edition. Hey everybody, welcome to the bonus round. I'm Jeff Keighley, and in the bonus round we get the biggest names in the video game industry to come right here to Game Trailers. And this week I'm not in the regular set, I'm on location in Las Vegas for the 2008 DICE convention. Big wigs are here, and we got 3 of them with me right now, including Aaron Loeb, who's the COO of Planet Moon Studios. You're working on a new Wii game called Band Mashups, which is coming out in April, right?
That's right.
Great to have you here, Aaron.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. We've got Greg LoPiccolo, who's the VP of Product Design at Harmonix, the makers of Rock Band, and we're playing Rock Band every week, downloading tracks, and there'll be another Rock Band one day, right?
Happy to be here.
Maybe. Can't get any scoop out of you. And finally, we've got Cliffy B, a man who needs no introduction. He's not even going to tell us what he's working on. I shouldn't even try, right?
And I'm just going to leap across the table and try and strangle you, Jeff.
I'm just saying, go pick up a copy of Game Pro. But, all right, anyway.
I foresee later in the show he's going to realize he's working on a stripper game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to predict
That's
that
your
right
prediction?
now.
Well, we'll have to see. But right now, let's get right into it and talk about the state of the video game industry. So we got you 3 guys, 3 important people in the video game industry. We are here.
They're very important people.
That's why you're here. That's why we get you the drinks.
So we got drinks
right here
yeah.
inside the bar. Let's talk about the state of the video game business. Put you on the spot, Aaron. What's the biggest problem right now in the video game industry?
Oh my goodness, what's the biggest problem right now? It's absolutely a lack of clarity about 3 platforms.
Right.
So the thing that's starting to cause some real confusion is there's a war on in Europe. Right. So nobody knows what's going to happen here. So now
that's true, because Xbox 360, had this head start, did well. Now there were all these predictions from Electronic Arts came out last week saying that they think that the PS3 is going to outsell the Xbox 360.
And everybody's saying so. PlayStation 3 is coming back.
It's coming back.
The Xbox doesn't have a great presence in Japan, or depending on who you ask, any presence in Japan, right? So the PlayStation 3 is doing great there. People are trying to figure out what to make of the Wii, how long it's going to live. I think it's an empire that'll last 1,000 years, but other people, have some confusion about that.
There
is confusion, but there's also a lot of money flying
around. And that's
around.
the biggest problem right now, the confusion. That's what keeps you up at night?
That's what keeps everybody up at night.
You agree, Greg?
I think that's an okay problem to have. I think it's actually like...
You like that competition?
I think it's the best of times, because there's a lot of different stuff coming out, a lot of stuff is selling, and there's a lot of different kind of stuff selling. People are taking risks and trying new things, and that's usually the complaints, it's all sequels and boring stuff. And I think a lot of people are rolling the dice on different stuff.
So that's not the biggest problem. What is?
Oh. Yeah, gee.
If you agree, you
Not
can just
so
move
easy
along.
now,
Our lack of jets.
Lack of private jets?
If we had jets, we would be happier.
Everyone needs a private jet. So does that mean developers aren't making enough money? Harmonix, you only sold yourselves to MTV for $175 million. You couldn't buy a jet with that?
Got a big wheel.
I don't know what kind of jet you want. But.
Jeff pulls no punches.
Yep.
So are there any problems?
I think Aaron's right. I mean, the thing is,
now you're right.
If you're a developer and you're trying to cover your bets, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right? You've got 3 platforms. They're all important. You can't write any of them off.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work, but.
And if you're a publisher, the expense of covering 3 platforms, obviously the Wii is not as financially heavy to invest in, but the expense of, we feel like we have to cover both the PS3 and the Xbox 360, because especially if it actually splits the world, imagine this, right? If you want to sell the game in Europe, you have to be on PS3. If you want to sell the game in the US, you have to be on Xbox 360. That means you must have 2 SKUs.
Japan, you got to be on the Wii.
However, if anybody swung out in front and was the dominant console, we'd probably
be talking about that, and we'd be talking about that too. That's
exactly.
Right.
You'd like to have that war, and we've got Rock Band coming to the Wii soon, right? That was said in the EA conference call by John Riccatello.
It's hard to say, really.
You never know. All right. So
the odds are good that at some point in the future it'll be coming out
to the Wii. All right. Cliffy, what about you? What's the big problem here for you?
For me, I think we're at this point now when you make a game, you have to make an event. It has to be like an entertainment phenomenon, because you're competing for the dollars of the gamers who are going to be going to the movies or watching television, doing God knows what, hanging out on the internet all day long. And if you're going to make a game in this day and age, you're going to make a AAA game, you have to align your development with making an amazing game, also with the marketing and the PR and building the hype machine. So that the day that your game hits, even if it's an original IP, if it's a sequel, it is an event launch and there's kids lining up around the block at Best Buy, camped out at midnight, dressed up in the armor of the characters, and just really making that kind of impact so you wind up on Access Hollywood.
Does it have to be that big? Because I'm sure that the launch of band mashups, I know is going to be a great game, Aaron, but I don't know if it's going to be a pop culture event.
What are you talking about?
When it comes out.
We've got mariachi music. It's going to be a cultural event.
You will have a marching band somewhere, right?
I agree very much with what Cliff is saying, but also disagree, right? It is true that for a AAA, I mean, the important proviso there is the AAA games, the pressure there is crazy, right? I mean, if you're not in the 90% on how good your game is, nobody's paying attention, I mean, you've got to really buld that thing out.
Today, if Cliff launched Jazz Jackrabbit, he would need a guy in a jazz suit.
I would. Probably a furry, actually.
That's right. But the flip side is we're also seeing a great ascendancy of not AAA games, not super hardcore, giant event games.
Right.
We recently made the game Smarty Pants, which is a trivia game for the whole family.
Right.
We didn't have to have a big media event for that. The game sold very well around the world, right? Because people are also hungry for smaller games they can play with their family, that are more casual, and that is a great ascendance going on in the industry.
I am all in favor of all of those kinds of games. I love them because for me, it's like everyone's all concerned right now as far as like the hardcore games. All these great Wii games are selling well, and they feel threatened by it. And I'm just like, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, it's more people playing games, and you know what? Maybe eventually they'll try a more hardcore game like Gears of War, like Mass Effect or something. But get them playing something, and like families are like coming together playing like Rock Band and games like this.
Which is amazing.
Time.
It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think, Greg, with these, you see all these, more mainstream games, something like Rock Band, are the smaller games or the bigger games more innovative?
See, I think both.
Right.
I mean, I think you see people rolling the dice on huge initiatives like Spore.
Yeah.
It's like that's a big bet.
Those are some big dice.
And
Rock Band was big. I mean, that was risky. What you guys were
that
doing
was
with
a big investment.
I think it was a no-brainer if you ask me. We're like, when is this coming out? And then it finally came out and everyone was snatching it up. I'm sorry, I'm just a fan. I'm a fanboy.
Technically, it was probably pretty hard to pull off.
Pulling it off was no treat. The whole building stuff in China is that's a whole new discipline that we got to get our heads around.
So, do you think, Aaron? I mean, are you seeing? We talk about big AAA games. Cliff mentions them. They have to be events, but is it sometimes more about the marketing? Do you think than the actual innovation of the design?
I think that about 3 years ago, that was what everybody was saying. That was the big story of E3 3 years ago. All the journalists like yourself walked out going, "Oh, the industry is doomed. Everything's just a sequel. There's no innovation left."
Some Hollywood talent attached to the
If you look at 2007, especially holiday season 2007, look at the games that came out, and you say there's no innovation left in our industry, you're an idiot. That's period. I mean, it's incredible what's happening in our industry right now. You look at Call of Duty 4, you look at Rockstar, you look at, Call of Duty 4, it's a sequel, but it's super innovative.
But I don't think sequels are bad in the video game industry because gamers know how to play the game. It's a new mechanic and it's more refined. I didn't play Burnout until Burnout 3. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, the other ones probably weren't as good. They probably had, weren't as polished, right? Whereas with a movie or, even in television, the narrative you can only stretch out so long. With a game, there's always new game mechanics and the story elements integrated into the game. I mean, sequels are okay in this business. I don't have a problem
But what's exciting to me is rather than just modest iterations in the sequels right now, we're seeing whole, shifts and new dynamics in what people are doing in their sequels, right? I mean, Call of Duty 4 compared to Call of Duty 3 or Call of Duty 2, radically different game.
Were you guys tired of killing Nazis?
I was kind of tired of killing Nazis.
Modern Warfare, thank God.
It was fresh. I mean, you can look at what you guys did, I think, going from Guitar Hero to Rock Band. I mean, some people would say in some ways Rock Band is a spiritual sequel to Guitar Hero, but, look at what you added to it. I mean, it was a completely new experience, right?
Well, it was like, had that focus of like, hey, let's make it be about the band and the emotional bonds between the people in the band, which was like an easy thing to think of, and then it was kind of hard to actually get.
I'm sure sometimes, to get to that point, if you didn't have Guitar Hero before, it probably would have been too much to chew off to get it to that point. I mean, Call of Duty 4 might not have been as good as it was if they hadn't done Call of Duty 2 so early on the Xbox 360 and figured out the technology. So sometimes it takes a couple sequels to really get, the game you want to make, right?
You build on the shoulders of what came before.
That's right. That's right. And to justify the cost to your publisher and everything else. But to answer your question, no, I don't think it's just about marketing. I think if you look at what's happening in the industry right now, there is incredible innovation and newness happening right now. And it's a really exciting time.
It's an exciting time, and it's going to be even more exciting when we come back to talk more about the future of the industry right here on the Bonus Round. Next time in the bonus round, we get out our crystal balls about the future of game design. What will games look like in the year 2015?
You're going to control them with your mind.
And what frustrates our panel about how games are designed today?
Technologically, this whole, sitting with this little controller in front of the TV and expecting this person to figure out how to use this controller is like saying, hey, learn Spanish before you can enjoy this video game.
Find out next Sunday right here in the bonus round.
Bonus round.